and welcome back to my channel. This is episode 6 of season 8 of Heartland, Steal Away. Amy deals with a client horse that appears to be an escape artist, and Ty enlists Scott's help in busting a dangerous poaching ring. I'm glad to see that Ty is going to continue to fight for those horses. I had mentioned in the last episode that I was glad to see that he's going to Scott. I'm wondering though if it means that he's going to have to end up working for Scott again. Because the sanctuary guy, he's a nice guy and he likes Ty. But I'm also kind of thinking like, he doesn't really seem like the type who wants to stop it. I mean, I get what he was saying, he's, I still want to go home in one piece, which is true. But there are ways that you can fight assholes without risking your safety, which I think Ty is going to find out now after he was beaten up. So I like the guy, but he doesn't seem like he really wants to do much in terms of fighting poachers. So that may be what seals the deal for Ty, and he ends up going back to Scott, or he may end up staying at the sanctuary. We'll see. And it says a client horse that appears to be an escape artist, so Amy obviously is going to deal with a horse that keeps disappearing on her every so often, probably likes to run away and appear other places. So, let's get started. Hey, Spartan. Good boy. She's hoping.
Hey, Scott. Sure? Yeah, I can come have a look at him. Okay.
I think she was hoping it was Ty. She was being watched.
Look at all this laundry.
Box, okay? My treat.
You don't like horses, but didn't we see her kind of working with a horse? No, I guess it was more of a sheep. Or a lamb or something. It's like, but Jack makes a good point. He says you bunk here, you pitch in and throw your own weight. I'm like, valid point, But what is the point of Jade? I mean, there's not really much point to her. She's just kind of a useless character. I mean, I'm guessing in a way she's kind of another one that they're kind of rehabilitating, except she hasn't gone through the system. And I'm glad that that Georgie said something, but I'm like, you know what, if I were Georgie, of course, she knows Lou, and Georgie probably knew that if she left it all to Jade and it didn't get done, Lou would probably ask Georgie why she didn't do it. Although if it were me, I'd say because you gave it to Jade, it was her responsibility, and I'm gonna let her take the fall for stuff that she didn't do. So, that could have, I could have seen that working out both ways. But I'm glad that Georgie spoke up and said that she had done it. And it's like, Jade wasn't gonna do shit. And the laundry still would have been there.
Georgia, you need to be part of this too.
I'm not sure I can help.
Step up and show Jade the ropes.
So I'd be kind of like her boss?
Well, I guess that's one way to look at it.
Don't care.
How do you stand it? I'd lose my...
Yeah, they were circling obviously because there's an sick or injured or dead animal. But also, I'd want to be cautious and not let those rabbits out right there where the hawks are nearby, because obviously they might see the rabbits and think, food. We have a hawk, I think, that lives around here. There was one night where this hawk and this owl were like talking to each other or like yelling at each other, you'd hear whoo whoo whoo, and then from the hawk you'd hear like rah, whoo whoo whoo, rah. So yeah, they were like talking to each other, and I was just like, It is kind of cool though to hear the owl. You know, I think it's in one of the trees out front, but I'm not sure. But yeah, there'll be times like I might be laying there in bed, like maybe it's early morning and my husband's getting ready for work or something, and I might hear whoo, 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 and I'm like, oh, the owl's out. And sometimes it does affect our cats, or more specifically Kitty, because he was partly feral, I think, when we adopted him. And he'd been outside and stuff like that. So I think when he hears an animal, like an owl or something, I think it can possibly affect him a bit. But yeah, this is why Ty obviously is going to enlist Scott's help, because of those poachers. And Scott probably can set him up. Like, what's his name said he called Fish and Wildlife Preserve, and he says, better them than me. And I'm like, well, yeah, valid. I mean, they would have resources for fighting that, so that is a valid point. But I'm also wondering if he gave them Ty's info. Now, it could be that, these guys are talented and can find the info anyways. But, I don't know, the guy is a bit squirrely. So I hope I'm wrong.
That's what we want. Let's try that again.
I was going to say, it's different than actually climbing on him. Completely. Put your leg over.
Good boy, Dash. That's great.
Like I said, though, I do like that Georgie's gotten so involved with horses and being a part of that life. Document, I know you want food. You can get it in a couple minutes. In about 13 to 15 minutes, okay? He's always wanting food. Because I made that comment about him kind of like reaching for the lock. So obviously that's what happened. He unlocked it himself. Although when she did put him in the stall and had kind of like done that, she did lean against it and we didn't see her lock it. So that could be attributed to being her fault. Or she could have locked it and we just didn't see that. But we saw them lock it this time. So first time I'm going to put on her. And she's saying, well, I don't want to do it. And I'm thinking, boy, these guys are a little nicer than I am, because I would be like, I don't care. Like, you don't really have a say. You're under my roof. You will live by my rules. And if I'm telling you to do something, you say, yes, ma'am, and you get to it, I don't put up with insolence. I don't put up with children. But like I was saying about Georgie, I mean, ever since she came along in season 6, she has really embraced living on a ranch. Obviously she loves the horses, she does the trick riding, and she has a home. And I think that's one reason why, because she does feel like Heartland is her home. And I mean, look at her. Again, she's surrounded by people. She's got Lou and Peter, got her parents. Then she's got Katie, her adopted sister, So it's like right there's 3 people. Plus then Amy and Jack, all of whom live there. And then soon, of course, there's going to be Ty. And then Lisa. And, she just has, she went from, and her brother, Jeff. So she went from basically having Jeff to having this whole slew of people. And I think she realized that, and so she's really kind of embraced life on the ranch and become involved with it, which I think is great. So he's looking stuff up.
Got your message? What's up? Well, I thought about what you said. But if I'm going to get involved, I want to check this area out for myself. And not Thanks for the offer, but I got it. It'll be fine. It won't. I know you're too stubborn to drop it. But I don't have a lot of time. So when can we do this?
Spartan's fine, he's eating. He's a smart horse. And of course, even though they were doing that to show them, I'm like, you're still kind of encouraging bad behavior, which I'm sure they can cure him of, especially when Jack rigs up some device that will prevent him from opening it. But I knew Bob had done it, just the way he reacted or didn't react, you know? And he said they threw some money my way. And I was like, you know, it does make, he does make a valid point, you know? Yeah, the bears died, but so many other animals were saved. And, you know, the money they gave him probably did help, you know, for the animals. Because, yeah, you can use that to buy some food or some medical equipment, you know. And I'm sure that he did think about that. And he does make a valid point, how many other animals get to live. And kind of makes me think of, like, Doctor Who, where they will sometimes sacrifice someone or a race to save others. It's kind of like how the Doctor blew up his home planet of Gallifrey, you know, killing the Time Lords and the Daleks, but it was to save the universe and save the rest of the planets and species in existence. And there was something, I think, in like Day of the Doctor or a different episode where someone asked this woman who worked for a pretty, you know, high profile, like kind of military company, and they said, you would be willing to kill millions, you know, which would have been in London. And she said to save billions. Because whatever these guys would have done would obviously, you know, basically wipe out the whole planet. And so, yeah, she would kill millions of her own people if she had to, if it meant saving the rest of the world, to save billions. So that's kind of what he was thinking, you know, is, yeah, okay, these 2 bears died, but all these other animals get to live because of it. So it's like, I see his point. What he didn't do was right, but I do see his point. Jade and Dash are gonna have this connection.
Now for your final test. Stand. Whoa. Stand.
Good boy.
Doing it. You're such a good boy.
He's a good boy. He's such a beauty. Look at that chestnut.
Is it?
Give me that loose. Because her helmet could fly off.
I totally blew it.
Yeah.
You got a business here to run, and I didn't handle that Dr. Kirk thing very well, and I see that now. Is there any way you'd ever consider hiring me back on? The thing about you, Ty.
Ty, come and speak to her. I hope.
Hi. That's great. What about that reserve?
And that wasn't obviously the response she wanted. You can tell by her face. She said, I miss you, and he just kind of said, take care of yourself. It was kind of cold, too. And I'm like, you idiot. Because he did look like he wanted to say something. Like, he said, it's a long story. And I was waiting for her to say, well, how about coming to Darren tonight to talk about it? You know, and then he started to leave. It's like he was kind of wanting her to say something, and then when she did, then he's kind of like still being a dick, you know. He's like, well, take care, as he's driving off. And I'm just like, I mean, at least he told her about the job and everything. But I'm still just like, you idiot, you know. And she says, I miss you. And you miss her too, dummy. So say I miss you too, instead of just doing that. Because she still has the ring on. And you could tell she was still sad and hurt by that, by what he said right there at the end. And it looked like Jade, was starting to kind of understand a bit more about horses. I don't really see much point to her though. I mean, is she just is she supposed to be kind of like another Georgie? Who didn't, didn't go through probation, but it's kind of one of those bad kids that they reform? I mean, she seems kind of pointless, to be honest. Just there to kind of cause trouble. I mean, maybe there's a point to her, maybe I learn more about her. But, like the doctor is letting her stay with these people, and I'm like, that's kind of personal, Jack is supposedly a client of hers. I mean, I know they have this business and everything, but still, I'm like, it seems a bit over the top, So, Ty's being stupid. Hopefully, there will be some more progress in the next episode. Thank you for joining me for this reaction. Let me know what you thought about Ty there at the end. I thought he was personally being a dick. But did you think it was justified? What about Amy? She obviously was wanting him to say, I miss you too. And he didn't say that. Hit the like button and subscribe for more content if you can. Support me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. I know that money is tight, but any support would be appreciated. And if you can't, then I am just glad that you are here and enjoying these reacts as I navigate through this wonderful show called Heartland. I'll see you next time. Bye.